Actually, we used to have at practice with 4 employees, seeing like 250 patients a week. And so I was like, this is it, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, right? My mission in life, and I'm helping a ton of people.
Welcome to another incredible edition of Living Boldly with Purpose. And today, I just get, every time I get to do these, and I love doing this show because I get to meet some of the most interesting, thoughtful, incredible people that are in the world that are just doing it. They've decided that their life is more than just getting up every morning, go to work, come home, get up every morning, go to work, come home, and get up every morning and go to work to come home. And I think, when I think about our school system, and at least here in the United States, and the guest that I have on wasn't born in the United States, but he has lived here for many, many years. And, I think one of the issues with our public school system, not that it's is probably one of the better ones in the world. I mean, it is what it is, but there's so much time just spent on teaching people how to go to work and come home. And we talk about being fulfilled, and we talk about purpose, and we live our lives. And, there's so many people, I know when it was, invented in the 20s and 30s, the educational system that we have now was primarily made to help people work in factories. It was designed where there was rows of seats and a manager or a teacher up the front room, and they would tell you what you need to do for the day, and you'd take some breaks and you'd take some lunches. And I think we're starting to turn that around a little bit. I was a teacher for many years, and so some of those things that we talked about, that I see changing, where every 40 minutes, in our high school system, anyways, every 40 minutes, we were changing what we were thinking about all day. And I think about that as an adult now, and I just turned 60 last week, and thinking if I had to change what I was thinking about today every 40 minutes in order to do something else, I would go crazy. If I had to go, let me do some math right now. Okay, let me do some English. Let me do some stuff. And so it's just funny to me as I was thinking about systems and what it means to live in purpose. And before the show, Alan and I were just talking, what are you excited about? And what he told me, when we think about success living close, what he told me is what I'm doing now is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And you think about it, as you're watching this and you're thinking, what would that be? What would it be where you could say, what I'm doing now, I don't ever want to stop doing? And obviously life changes and all things happen, and there might be something that comes, but to be in a place, and I'm kind of where you're at, Alan, where I go, I would love to do, if I could do podcast coaching and speaking for the rest of my life, and this is all I had to do, is get up and do this stuff, I would do it because of the incredible people that I get to have a relationship with, incredible people that I get to spend time with. And so, my thoughts as we get started. And so I've asked Alan to kind of tell his story. And he's going to weave in all the things that he's doing and how he's making life happen and that kind of stuff. And so the floor is yours, Alan. We will chop it up throughout the process. But I can't wait to hear who you are. And, sometimes I would, when I did podcasts or I go on podcasts, somebody wants to read my bio. That's what I do, but that's not who I am. And so I'm so excited to find out what this is that you want to do for the rest of your life. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, who you are, it's truly, the question, right? What is our mind, right? So let me explain where I'm coming from a little bit. So I used to live on my sailing boat in south of France, and rent boats in south of France. So I did that for 7 years, and I was like what I call a sun chaser. So what do I mean by that? Well, in south of France, obviously it's pretty sunny, right? And so I was working only 7 to 8 months a year. They used to call me the gypsy. I used to have a hearing. I used to party all the time. I mean, quite a different life that I live now, right? And so the rest of the time, I used to travel. So either on my boat, for like few months, because after the Mediterranean Sea get rough, and after I will take a air flight ticket, right, and just go to the south hemisphere when the sun is always shining during the winter, right? And so I
So
didn't know
never
what was
winter.
snow. Yeah, I didn't know what was snow. I didn't know what was, winter for say for years. And so what happened? So I was living that life, minding my own business, right? And so one day I had a calling. And I don't know if you guys are experienced of calling, but a calling is like you know what to do, you know that you know, right? So what
Mhm.
happened to me? I just the calling was basically that I saw myself helping people. So here we go, right? I'm trying to help people, but the problem it's like I wanted to do some alternative health care system, right? Because that was talking to me. And so the problem, what happened with that, it's like I didn't know anybody who was involved in that. My family or my family member, even remotely, they were not involved with any sort of healthcare. So what I decided to talk to my client. And here we go. One day I talked to one of my clients and he said, "Oh, you know what, Alan, there's a Chinese doctor that is coming to town and he's gonna basically, spend a weekend. Would you like to talk to him?" I said, "Oh yeah, heck yes. I would love to talk to him." So few days after I met that guy and we started talking and he told me, "Okay, you need to read those three books." So he gave me like three book title to read. I will always remember. The first one was the Tao Te Ching, which is like a Chinese, philosophical book. Not an easy read, I guarantee you that. And after the second one was called the Hara, Hara, which means belly in Japanese. That's when traditionally they kill themselves with a knife at the center of gravity, like below the belly button, right? And there's an entire philosophy, not about killing philosophy, but the philosophy having the hara, right? Which means belly. And the other book was like the man between earth and sky, which was more an acupuncture book. So sure enough, I did that. And after when the season was over, I was done with my job. I went to visit him, and naturally we talked. He gave me a treatment. We talk about Chinese medicine, and so I inquired about that. And he told me, "Well, Alan, if you really want to know what you're doing, you need to go to China," which wasn't a problem with me. I used to travel a lot, but you need to spend 10 years and learn Chinese, become fluent on
Weird.
that, study the old text. I said, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I'm 30
10
years old.
years.
I want to practice. Yes, I want to. That's what he did. I want to practice. I want to practice one day, right? And so he looked at me and said, "You know what, Alan? You look strong. Why not chiropractic?" And I said, "What's that?" And so he gave me some, contact, like some fresh people who went to the US to study chiropractic. And I got some information about the school, get the information. I have all the information translated by one of my best friends. She was like an English teacher. And what I read, what was fascinating to me, Dr. B, was they talk about the innate intelligence, your own ability to heal yourself. And it just resonated with me. And so what I did the following year, I sold my boat business. I told my parents, by the way, remember I used to have long hair, the hearing and all that. I told them, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to the US to become a doctor." So they just literally laugh at me, but they didn't know that I had that purpose, right? That purpose, my
Mhm.
mission in life was given to me. It's such an honor, and I was so lucky to have that in my life. So there was no doubt, when you know what you have to do. At least you have to try it. There's no way you cannot say no to that. No way. And so what happened? I went to the US and I graduate. So I'm a chiropractic physician within 3 years. And I started to do chiropractic, but what I noticed, Dr. B, is like, will get the result initially, and after people will plateau, right? They will stay the same. But in order to stay the same, they still have to come to see me. I said there's something wrong with that, right? Because to me, what I know for sure, there's one thing, one of a few things that I know in life for sure. It's like if you want to resolve a problem, you need to know two things. Number one, what you need to know what's causing your problem, right? If you don't know what's causing your problem, I mean, how can you fix it, right? And after the number two, here we go, you need to know how to fix it. And like that, there's no more problem. If you identify the cause of a problem, you know how to fix it, you can move on. There's no more problem. So again, I was not too pleased with treating people only physically. So I started to investigate because I realized that actually we all can have inflammation in the body, and that can create some stress in the nerves that can create some problem. So I started to investigate that and learn that. And so sure enough, what I did like different, I learned different technique, and we were able to scan the body and find out which organ were under stress and what was causing the stress in the body, right? And so I had quite a bit of success with that. Actually, we used to have that practice with 4 employees, seeing like 250 patients a week. And so I was like, this is it, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? My mission in
Mhm.
life, right? And I'm helping a ton of people. And meanwhile, I got married. I met a French woman actually in a bar, and we get married a few years later, and we had a daughter. Her name is Maya, right? And so the problem with that practice, it's like all I was like always busy in my head. I really couldn't disconnect, right? So I started to burn out, right? Typically, I will come back home, and I was there, but I was not present. So my relationship went down the drain, right? And so within a year, Dr. B, what happened to me? It's like I ended up, of course, divorcing, right? And so because I was divorcing, I got depressed. I even lost. Can you believe it? I even lost my passion for my work and my mission in life, right? And so I literally burned out, Dr. B. And so what happened after my practice, obviously, because I was so overworked, my practice went from thriving to failing. And the cherry on the cake, I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So imagine, here we are. I teach people how to, get better, make sure that this won't happen to them. I was doing my own program, decrease the inflammation in the body, and here we go. I got diagnosed with a second killer in this country. So, Dr. B, I have to rethink everything about myself. I had to rethink, about my job, obviously, because, what I was telling people what to do was clearly not enough because I got sick myself. I had to redefine what my relationship are about. I had to rethink about my prosperity and all that. So, I went on a quest, and I wanted to find out what are the forces behind or within me that make me sabotage my health, relationship, and prosperity. And so there it went, and that was, so I started to remember, when there's a problem, you need to identify what's causing the problem and
Mhm.
how to fix it. So what I did, I said, okay, well, I want to treat people physically because I already knew that I never had the victim mentality, right? Because my dad had that. My dad was a very negative person and very controlling. So when you are very negative, not only you impact your loved one, right, negatively, but more than anything, you impact yourself. Your cell become all negative, and of course you get sick. So at 40 years old, he was disabled. And what happened, it's like people will call him, but they ask him about his health, right? And so the problem is like after our subconscious mind, get that program that, hey, if you are sick, you're going to get the attention, right? It's not consciously by doing that. But if you're sick, you get the attention. So you caught up on that loop and you never got out of it, right? So I knew that I have to be a creator. I knew also that through my healing, I will be able to translate at helping my patient even better, right? So
Mhm.
I went on that quest. And so I checked, Dr. B, I started to check the physical stress. So chiropractic treat only 20% of the nervous system. And so what is the other part of the nervous system? It's called the central nervous system, which is your brain and your spinal cord. So I become a cranial specialist to help at over 80% of the nervous system. And also during my life, and especially when I treat people, I've got insights coming out of the blue. That's the best way I can describe it. So I created my own energy treatment, right? So I started to be, okay, physical stress is good. Chemical stress, remember, I already knew, what's causing it. I was able to scan the body, find out what are the stressors, right, or that was creating the inflammation. And what I realized is when you supercharge the body with oxygen, miracle happen. All infectious agent there, and cancer cell, by the way, cancer cells, when they got oxygen, it's the equivalent of a vampire looking straight to the sun or at the sun. So they don't like it, right? And so I started to, because you can do an alkaline diet, Dr. Bieber is going to cost you a fortune to do that to the
Mhm.
patient, and nobody's going to follow that for a long time because it's so hard. So I started to create very cheap mixture that you could do like that. You can with a pH monitor your pH. You can monitor your oxygen level, right? What we call the pH to be more than 7.3. So I was pleased with that, and so now what I'm going to do with with the emotional and the mental stress, right? So I started to learn technique, some emotional technique, and if you will be a patient of mine, I will say, oh, you know what, you've got neck pain, right? But what's happening? You've got that negative emotion that is trapped in your neck, right, and creating some problem, right? So we will release that, but Dr. B, I knew there was something even better than that. I just didn't know at that time what it was, but all my intuition were telling me there's something better. So I started to research the mind, and oh boy, when I started to research the mind, what I discovered was amazing. And now it blew my mind that most of the people, they're not even aware of. First of all, we live in two separate worlds at the same time. So what do I mean by that, right? So we live in the inner world and the outer world. So what is the outer world, right, Dr. B? So the outer world is basically your self-identity, your personality, who you think you are, right? It's also your what you're aware of, right? Your thought, your emotion, your basically your perception of reality, right? Your behavior and your action, right? So that's your subconscious mind, right? That's what we call that. And after there's a mysterious secret kind of your mind that you're not aware of, right? It could be unconscious mind, or we can call that the subconscious mind to keep it simple, right? And so the subconscious mind, Dr. B, register everything you have been doing in your life from its zero to now, right? It's also where your skill reside. It's also all the automatic part of your being, like your heartbeat, your breathing, is located at. And more important than well, and after we'll talk about, and this can be programmed, and we're going to talk about that because this is the key. This is what really our subject is about today. And so, but just to give you an idea how powerful the subconscious mind and how powerful the conscious mind is, right? So the first things, conscious mind process data at 11 bits per second. The subconscious mind processes data at 11 million bits per second. So it's 1 million times faster. And
Wow.
now for the second things that I'm going to tell you, hey guys, if you are listening and you're standing up, you better sit now because that's going to blow literally your mind. So your conscious mind, depends who you're reading, it's 5 to 10% of your mind only, meaning that your subconscious mind, all the things you're not aware of, is 90 to 95% of your mind.
Mhm.
Yet, what we focus only on conscious mind, which is 5 to 10%. So it means that we use 5 or 10% of our mind power, 5 or 10% of our brain power. So here's the thing. What if we bring the subconscious mind to the party? Would
Mhm.
it be wonderful, Dr. B?
Oh, amazing. This is so cool. Yes. And when I think about our minds, I literally believe that the invisible world is the real world. And we just have the manifestation into the conscious world that we try to operate in. But everything else, there's just so much in this invisible world that is more real and more powerful than anything that we do when we wake up, and then not we're just kind of manifesting whatever. So please
Total,
keep going.
totally agree. And let's explore that, right? Let's explore that even deeper, right? So, what happened when, and especially, I mean, it can happen anytime, but when we are from age zero to, I would say 6 to 8 years old, again, depends who are you reading, you are more innocent, right? So, what you see in the outside world, you think that you make the assumption that it's good, right? It's like,
Mhm.
right? You just make the assumption. And when the assumption is like repeated again and again, it becomes a program. And those programs are stored in your subconscious mind. So you've got basically two kind of program, right? You've got program that are serving you, right? They are good for you, right? They are serving you. And so we call that empowering belief. Empowering belief, right? So it's like your mind is working for you, right? Empowering belief. And after you've got another kind of program that is they are not serving you any longer. At one time, at one point, fear can be very helpful. If you see a tiger, well, you're going to run away, right? That's going to save your life, right? And so, but at one point they were serving you, but after they're not serving you any longer, right? And we call that limiting belief. And this after, it's like your mind is working against you.
Yes.
Right? So let me give you an analogy with a computer, right? We're talking about program. We may as well, see the mind as a computer. So if you look at the mind as a computer, what you have, your brain is your hard drive. The brain, that's not where your emotion, when your thought and things like that are stored at. It's only an interface. And I wrote a book, it's called The Brain Power Secret, right? So I wrote a book about brain, right? Number one Amazon bestseller anyway. So that what I'm telling you, this is not your mind, right? The brain is not your mind. So it's your hard drive. And after the software of your computer, Dr. B, the software of your computer is your subconscious mind.
Okay.
And the product, right, the output, to talk like a computer language, the output of your software is your conscious mind. And your behavior is reflected on the screen of life. Right? So if you've got a good quality software, right, it means you don't have too many limiting beliefs. And limiting belief can be induced by trauma, right, obviously. They also can be induced by challenges, but anything in your environment, but something you couldn't deal with that, right? And just put that as a program that you had many assumptions, right? That's one way to get programmed. We'll go over the other way, right? So let me give you an example, right? So, what I want to say, if you've got a good quality programming, right? Of course, you're going to love the screen of life. You say, man, life is never better, right? I enjoy it. I've got fun, whatever. I've got a wonderful wife, everything, right? But if you've got lots of limiting belief in your software, right? Well, the screen of life is not going to be that pleasant, right? Maybe quite a bit of suffering, and you say, "Oh, life is so hard, my goodness, look at this, and all that, right?" So let me give you an example because I think it will be good for the listener to it will be better for them to understand. So let's pretend, Dr. B, there's a little girl that see a dad is a drunk, coming back every night and beat up the mom every single night. So when the little girl grow up and she in age to have a romantic relationship, what kind of relationship do you think she's going to attract?
The one that's going to do the same thing that she grew up with.
That's it. So now there's two comments that I want to make on that, right? And I would say probably 80% of people will agree with us, right? If she's going to attract the same kind. So the first things, if you ask that woman and you say, hey, do you enjoy to get beat up like your mom? So the conscious mind is going to say, heck no. But the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predators and women are prey. So the subconscious mind is the one who dictates what's going to happen to that girl in the present, but also in the future. So what does it mean? It means our past dictating our present and molding our future. Yeah. So for that little girl, there's another comment that I will make about that. How she's going to attract that guy. She's going to find a guy and say, hey, shake his hand and say, hey, do you want to beat me up? Right? That's not going to work that way, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like our subconscious mind are connected to each other. That's why we are all one in a way, but we are not aware of that, right? Doesn't mean that you have to love everybody. I'm not saying that, but we are just connected, right? And the subconscious mind is going to say, hey, this guy, right? It's almost like You whispering like, "Hey, this guy is going to be the one," right? But you're not conscious. You have no conscience of it, right? And so, of course, she's going to be attracted to that guy. And the guy maybe has been bullied, and now he becomes a bully, right? And so they're going to pair up, and they're going to that polarity is going to make the attraction, and they're going to start to tango together. They're going to start to dance. So there's three different case scenarios for that woman now that can happen. Case scenario number one, she may get stuck in that relationship, got married to the guy, and get stuck in that relationship for the rest of her life.
Mhm.
We all know people like that. We all know relationship like that, right? Or we have heard of it.
Yeah.
Case scenario number two, she's gonna get involved with this guy, and she's gonna break up, find another guy, gonna break up, maybe have kids along the way, lots of suffering. And there's two things that I noticed that those women will tell me. The number one reaction is like, I'm done with men, Dr. Salas. They're not good for me. I know. I'm done. No man in my life. Okay. So they start to have an awareness that it's just too much, right? It's just too much suffering, right? So they reject the idea of a man. But it's not true healing. True healing is when they attract somebody that's totally the opposite of an abused man. Somebody that is kind, somebody that respects her, somebody that sees her as an equal, right? And somebody that truly loves her. And that's how you know that you have been healed, because you can heal, of course, through your life experiences, right? I mean, life experiences, that's what this is about, right? It's about transformation and change and growth. But it's the hard way to me, right? Or you can, case scenario number three, you can find somebody that can tap into the subconscious mind and reprogram that mind. And that's what mind clearing is about, right? The mind clearing is about reprogramming your limiting belief. So when I say that, there's lots of people that are going to put the limiting belief on a box, like self-esteem things, I'm not good enough. What I'm saying, those limiting beliefs can create pain in your body. What I'm saying, I know because I treat pain, and I use pain. I treated pain like that. I could monitor the progress. It took me 3 years to really, refine that technique. And because it's instant feedback, I will use pain a lot and say, okay, let's reprogram that and that. And that's how I don't know anybody, maybe there is that say that they can get rid of pain by treating the subconscious mind and the limiting belief. I never heard of that, right? And so I use that a lot, because that was a good feedback for me, right? And those limiting beliefs, they are everywhere in your life. And they're creating pain, they're creating symptom, or they are part of a pain, or they're part of a symptom. And they also affect, if you're going to reach your goal or not, right? They're going to affect your success. They're going to affect everything in your life, your health, your relationship, and your prosperity, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
is it a big deal? Yes, this is it, Those limiting beliefs, again, it's like our past. It's really our past that, dictate our thought, our emotion, our behavior, and our action. So imagine a triangle like this, right?
Mhm.
And at the center, Dr. B, of the triangle, you've got limiting belief. On
Mhm.
top of a triangle, because you've got limiting belief, you're going to have negative thought. On the right base of a triangle, what's going to happen? You're going to have overwhelming emotion as a result. Because you've got overwhelming emotion, you're going to have non-desirable behavior, which is going to lead to unproductive action. Let me give you an example again. Let's see, my dad told me I'm a loser. So that's my limiting belief, right? So
Mhm.
I'm a loser. I'm going to think I'm a loser. I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to behave like a loser. And I'm going to have what's going to be my outcome, loser action, which is going to reinforce the feeling that I'm a loser, which is going to make me think, man, I didn't know I was that loser, right? Really? And that's going to reinforce that limiting belief. So I call that the subconscious stress loop. And we
Mhm.
caught up on those loops that are running behind the scene that you are not aware of. We're not aware of. They dictate our thought, our emotion, our action, and our behavior. So when you understand that, you understand, first of all, it's not your fault. I want to say that it's not your fault.
It's
It's some
yeah.
programming. Because there's some people are in codependent relationship, for example, and they say, "Oh, she has no will. She get abused and she won't get out of it. Like it's her fault." No, it's not her fault. That's the programming. That's powerful. This is 90% of your mind right there in action, right? And
Yeah.
so, what can you do about that, right? And before I say that, I'm going to introduce another notion about trauma, because
Okay.
trauma, lots of people are talking about it, right? And that's important. Don't get me wrong. So let's pretend I'm a military guy. I'm in Iraq and I'm pulling the trigger, and by accident I kill my best friend. Imagine that. I come back to the US. I'm a mess, right? I'm diagnosed with um, what is the name of it? Uh, Stress traumatic syndrome. Like, oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I
Well,
forgot about that. Yeah,
PTSD.
thank you. Yeah, PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome or disorder. I went blank on this one, right? And so I diagnosed with that, and guess what? Now I'm like depressed all the time. I'm like I've got some nightmare, like the Rambo movies. Remember, like
Mhm.
Rambo, he just wake up with night sweat, and he's got that nightmare of being tortured by the Vietnamese, right, as a prisoner. And so of course my relationship more than likely is going to go down the drain, right? Like it happened to me, right? Also, what's going to happen is like my prosperity. Lots of Vietnam veterans are homeless, well, were homeless, and after, of course, my health is going to go down the drain. So, what does it mean? What's the problem here? The problem is there's still a part of me there in the past pulling on that trigger. I call that the past you, Dr. B. So I just pulling on that trigger, right? So what if we can bring that past you to the present? Like that, we will erase the memory, right? And that's how we can get rid quickly enough, for sure, very quickly, we can get rid of those traumatic memory that haunt you. Does it make sense?
Yeah. And so you can actually, through the process of what you do, clear those bad, what we call traumatic things that have happened. Where do we forget those, or we just they're not triggers, or they're not impacting your mind, or is that those things are just not
Well,
part of our consciousness anymore?
you still, to answer your question, you still have memory of that, right? So it means your conscious mind is aware of that. Matter of fact, what I ask people when we do like a series of treatment, when they really want to transform their life, I say, give me a list of all the challenge that you had. I don't like to say problem, challenge that you experience in your life, all the what you call trauma you experience in your life, any health problem that you experience in your life. Basically, all the things that you didn't like in your life, that you don't want in your life anymore, and you rank them by order you want to treat, and we'll go after it. And if there's pain, I will always try to do pain, because after they can when they see the pain. I mean, here's the result that I got with pain, right? 1 or 2 visits, 80% of the people, they don't have a pain anymore. The pain can have been there for 10, 20 years. It doesn't matter. It's a program. When you delete the program, you're done. So how do we do that, right? Well, you have to speak the same language, right? It's like if I'm speaking French to you now, we'll be in trouble, right? I mean, you'll be more in trouble than I am. You have to speak the same language. In my field, I feel that people, they don't speak the same language. They tell you, oh, you've got limiting belief, or what you have to do, you have to journal, you have to feel it, you have to do some affirmation, lots of repetition. So it's the equivalent. We still have a video, but the sound is gone. And I'm trying to communicate with you, Dr. B. So I'm using sign language, I'm writing stuff. That's not easy. And how deep we can go into the conversation, right? So now, what is the subconscious mind language, right? Well, remember we talk about nightmare. Let's talk about dreams. What do you remember about a dream? There's always a picture or a series of pictures associated with that. I
Mhm.
never had anybody, Dr. B, told me, oh, you know what? I remember that dream. I remember only the smell of it or what I heard on that dream. There's always a picture. And that's why, remember, the mind can store data at 11 million bits per second, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So the subconscious mind, I'm sorry, use picture, right? Okay, so we established that. It makes sense, right? So it's like when you've got a program. When you program, you don't want. right? It doesn't, it's not performant enough, or it doesn't work for you anymore. What you're gonna do? You're gonna delete that program. You're gonna replace by another program, and you're gonna love what you see in your screen, right? Basically, that's the free step of a mind clearing. So I will ask you, let's see if you've got, let's do pain or symptom, or you got bloating, or, well, let's pretend you got low back pain, Dr. B. And you have heard of me, you say, well, nobody could help my low back pain. And I've heard that the mind can be involved with that. I'm going to give it a shot with you. I say, okay, let's do that. So I will tell you, okay, Dr. B, what you need to do, you need to visualize a picture in which you are in it, right? Because that's the past you. You have to be in it. You have to be in that picture, and it's the worst low back pain ever, right? So you visualize that picture. That's going to be your limiting belief. The big misconception with limiting belief is that we have to identify them. Heck no! You're going to use 5 or 10% of your mind, right? Your analytical mind, to figure out 90% of your mind power, and your mind is not, the odds are not very good for you, right? In that aspect, right? And again, a picture is worth 1,000 words because there's symbolism in it. Like there's, like Carl Jung talk about, there's archetype. That's why they've got books about, dream interpretation, right? Because it can be so complex because of a symbolism. And you will have, maybe you'll be, I don't know, we'll talk of more of a symbolism for the empowering one. So we do that, and we'll have a program to deal it. And it's a customized program to you, right? But who's going to deprogram? You, not me. I'm just only a guide, right? Remember about the innate intelligence, your ability to heal yourself. I help you, but I give you the technology to heal yourself. I give you the technology to transform yourself. I'm just giving you the technology to grow as a human being, right? To reach your full potential, or whatever you want to reach, right? And so that's what's so important and precious, because we are empowering you to heal yourself. And in my book, when you empower somebody to transform, heal, or grow, themselves, that's the holy grail of healing. That's the holy grail of transformation, because there's nothing better than that in my book, right? So you're using your own ability to heal yourself again, right? By yourself, right? So what we do, you visualize the negative picture, delete that program. Now we'll ask you, visualize the opposite of that picture, and make sure, Dr. B, that you absolutely love that picture. And that's going to be your empowering belief. Maybe you'll be walking on the beach. Maybe you'll be doing yoga. Whatever it is that your subconscious mind dictate, right? Or the picture for you, right? That's why I always tell people, make sure you get the first picture that comes to your mind, because it's less filtered by your conscious mind, right?
Yeah.
So you get that. Guess what? We're going to download the program to make sure that that limiting belief is replaced by the empowering belief. We don't want to know. We don't care about what that limiting belief is about. It doesn't. That's a big mistake that in my field they are doing. And after, what you want to do, you download the empowering belief. But after, remember, we talk about the screen of life. You want to make sure that it's going to happen to you, right? Otherwise, it's a fantasy. Oh, that's fine, I've got the fantasy that have possibly, I don't have any low back pain, but you want the pain to go away. So there's a program that's going to make sure that you just create that into your life, right? And those are the 3 steps of a mind clearing. Basically, you delete what you don't want, to keep it very simple. You download what you want, and you create the outcome, the desired outcome.
So I guess my question here is, when I think
Sure.
about Western medicine, you leave the South Branch and you go to China for about a time to learn, how this works. But we have this belief, at least here in America, I know you're in Kansas City, where if I get a headache, then I take an aspirin. Or if my mind's not right, then I go take some kind of substance to treat the symptom, because it's never a cure, right? It's just treating the symptoms. And you're saying, wait a minute, I can help you to use your own mind, because our bodies are just these phenomenal, fantastic machines that know how to do it. And then we reject it. What is wrong with us that we reject the fact that this stuff works? We see it work. We know it works for thousands of years, and yet I just want to go take an aspirin because is it because of the immediacy? Is it because we've just been told the lie? What is it about? I mean, and maybe I don't know because I think of well, okay, if I get in a car accident and my leg is hanging off, somebody's got to sew it back up. I mean, you can't. Your mind's not going to
So,
heal that part of it, right? But
so
what is
there's
it about?
well, there's few things. First of all, I have to say disclaimer: if I've got, which I had, a broken bone, right? I want to go to the ER. I want the surgeon. I want the painkiller. I want the anesthesia. No doubt about that, right? So
Yeah.
for emergency room, wonderful. For long-term pain and stress, they are the number three killer in this country. According to their own stat, the American Medical Association, they are the number three killer in this country. And they are medical error and drug side effect. So that's how I can
Really?
debate a medical doctor in 2 minutes, Dr. B. That's why I will tell him. So let's see somebody's got arthritis, right? So they're gonna give them a pill, right? Anti-inflammatory, whatever, right? Gonna give them a pill and let's pretend the pill works, right? Because sometimes it doesn't work, right? Now let's pretend it works, right? So I'm not even talking about side effects here. I'm not even talking about. So I will talk to that MD and I will say, so you mean that the cause of my problem is the lack of pill that created my arthritis? Like you said, they don't. It sounds crazy what I'm saying. It sounds so silly, but that's it. Remember, you need to find what's causing the problem, and you need to how to fix it. Because they go, like you said, after the symptom, they don't go after the cause of the problem for long-term pain and stress. So they cannot heal you. Period. We're done. We're done. When you don't find what's causing the problem and you treat deliberately the symptom to make lots of money, because that's the way it is, right? To make lots of money, well, you cannot heal people. Well, and so it's good for business. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they make billions, trillions. I mean, just crazy, right? It's very good for business, but it's never gonna heal you. So philosophically, he cannot even stand the first step of what's the cause of a problem. You see what I mean? And after, there's also people, they like, hey, that's easy. I take a pill. I'm not invested on that. I just have to swallow that damn stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I have to work
And
on it.
uh, but they know how powerful since we're talking about that, I want to add something. I want to talk, they know research, the research they are doing, they know how powerful our mind is. It's called the placebo effect. So what
Mm-hmm.
is the placebo effect, right? So let's see. I've got heartburn, right? And so I heard there's some research. We are like 200 people, right? And they tell me, I'm going to give you the pill, and we're going to see if it take care of your heartburn. That's a research. So I take a pill, right? They just give a pill to 200 people. I take a pill, and gosh, my heartburn disappear. But after, they told me, oh, by the way, it was not the pill, you had a sugar pill. So
Yeah.
what truly healed me? What is it that healed me that they call the placebo effect? Your mind. We have a placebo. This is, this, they call that an effect just to deny it. That's how true healing happens. Are you kidding me? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I just, I see it so prevalent, like, and then I see different people that, especially here in our country, that they will get treated with a pill or a drug or something because they can't afford what really works or what they think works, right? Well, the doctor will say, or like insulin, you need to take insulin because we have this other treatment over here that would probably work better for you, but insulin is cheap now. So we're going to give you the insulin, even though it's addictive, and you're going to be on it for the rest of your life because once you get on it, you can't get off of it. Instead of actually treating the cause, I guess. And then when I hear you, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why do I need to go? Like I said, for the ER, I need to go to the ER. Why would I want to? But I don't see people. I mean, like here in Denver, where I live, there is a medical building being put up or already up on just about every corner. And there's not Dr. Allens that are on every corner that are treating people.
Dr. B, it's an amazing business because I mean, they are addicted to a pill. They take that for life. I mean, what kind of a business that is better than that, right? And so
Repeating business, right?
that's it, I mean, there's no choice. So here's the thing also, people, here's the big problem that I see in our time, and actually even past time. It's what I call the hero complex. So we are waiting for somebody else to help us, somebody else to transform us, somebody else like to make us grow, somebody else to do whatever, right? We see that on movie all the time. There's the hero coming and this and that. So in MD, look at all the ER show that they're doing. They're doing ER show. They're not doing long-term pain and stress show, of course, right? That wouldn't work so well with the results. So we always count on somebody else helping. And did you notice with man clearing, you can learn it and do it on your own. And not only doing on your own and transform yourself, right? And heal yourself by yourself, but also you can help your family member. You can help other people doing that. So as a lay person, you can do that, right? You've got kids, they've got pain they have back pain, boom, you do man clearing with them, right? You've got like an aunt or whoever, So look how empowering it is. You see, and that's connected to the hero complex. Because if you've got the hero complex, you think you are little. You've got little. You cannot do anything by yourself. You need always somebody else. You need the authority, you do. And that's what they want you to think, of course. And on top of that, we think that we only our self-identity. We think that we only 5 or 10% our mind. Let me zoom out here and give you a perspective of the way I see things, right?
Okay.
So let's pretend there's the sun, right? The sun is always there, right? And the sun just make a spark, right? And you become your spirit. And this is all non-duality. What does it mean? It means there's no good and bad. There's no judgment. It is what it is, right? It's all there is and has ever been. And after you've got your cloud, and you've got the sky, and there's cloud on it. And after you've got me or you as a person, right? So some people, they've got so much cloud that they think there's no sun. They never experience the sun. They never see the sun, right? And so what are those clouds made of? Those are your limiting beliefs, sir. That's what are there. They are your limiting beliefs. So when you start to get rid of limiting belief, what happened? Oh, now you can feel the warmth of your sun, right? Of the sun. You can even see it. You can glimpse at it, right? Between the cloud, right? And more limiting belief you take away, more after, of course, you connected to your spirit. Remember that triangle here? If you are more connected to your spirit, obviously it means because you've got more empowering belief, right? So at the center, you've got empowering belief, positive thought, supportive emotion, desirable behavior, and productive action. And you caught up in that good loop now, instead of having that limiting, stress loop. That's the happy loop, if I can say that, right? That's the subconscious happy loop, right? And that's the one you want to run behind the scene, definitely. Does it make sense?
So yeah. So is it the limiting belief that stops us from wanting to help ourselves or wanting to even be, because we just don't believe it's going to work, so I should not even try? Is that kind of what we do?
That's the limiting belief, and those limiting beliefs have been created by society, by culture, and also they have been created by our conditioning, right? Because authorities, they know that we're programming, we can be programmed. So I call that, there's a placebo, and there's another one, it's called the nocebo effect. So what is the nocebo effect? Lots of people know about the placebo, but few people knows about the nocebo effect. So remember, I take the pill, my heartburn is good, right? So they tell me, if you take the pill, you may experience some side effects, like headaches. All right. So I take the pill and boom, I've got a headache. So I believe that the pill gave me the headache, but what I've learned again, it's not the actual pill. I had a sugar pill. So the belief that I will have the negative effect happen. So when you've got the bad news and all that, those are all nocebo. They keep you in fear, in the fear loop. And they program you again and again and again and again. The hero in the movies, they program you that, hey, you need to have a savior, right? Otherwise, don't even try to do it. Wait for somebody who's going to do it. Either somebody's going to come, well, that's for debate, but so far it's getting worse and worse. I think we are really in a turning point in our society now, like a crossroad, if you want. Either we go and we become more involved with technology, right? And they're even talking about having implant inside of you, right? And things like that connected to AI and all that. So now we're not in control of our thought, right? And our emotion and all that. Or we can go and just closer to be closer to our spirit using technique like mind, for example, mind clearing or hypnotherapy or whatever it is. And I believe we are in the crossroad now. So some people they're gonna go that way, some people go another way. But AI, we say, it's powerful. Of course, they come to a point now that it's even more powerful than the human. I don't know if I can call that intelligence. I will say capacity, right? Conscious capacity. But we don't know. I mean, this is our spirit is it come from source. It cannot be more powerful. Nothing is more powerful than that. We are just disconnected, Dr. B. That's it. We're just disconnected. We just need to remember to get rid of those cloud, of those limiting belief. Like that, we can be connected to our spirit and be really truly who we are. Remember the first when you started your comment at the beginning, you said who you truly are. If you believe you are only your conscious mind, okay, only 5 or 10% of your mind, that's what you're using. Or you do believe that you are much more than that you are a spirit living, a human being experience, right?
How bad is it, or maybe it's good? We have all this technology that allows our lives to be more convenient. We have the internet. You and I are having this conversation as a result of all this really cool stuff. But I'm seeing more and more sick people. I'm seeing more and more people who have mental health issues. I see more and more people who, are comparing their lives to what is a fake life of somebody, because who knows, what's in the computer.
It's all fake.
How do we unplug or disconnect from this beast of the technology that is now starting to run who we are? And I think when you say mind clear, I'm seeing people put more and more the opposite of clear, right? They're putting millions and billions. Like, I guess the subconscious can handle it, but can it?
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to make a detour a little bit to answer that question because I think it will be interesting to your listener. Like you say, we are too much in our head. So all the energy, because we've got the head, we've got the heart. So the head is what our thought. The heart is our emotion. And remember the hara, the first book that I read, the belly, it's about our will, right? So open mind, open heart, and open will. Right? That's a kind of philosophy I created in a way, right? Or I did develop. And so what does it mean? Well, if you've got lots of limiting belief and we have been conditioned to resolve problem, right? So when you resolve a problem is not something very positive, right? I mean, let's start there, right? It's a problem, right? And so we resolve a problem, and after, guess what? We're going to resolve on a problem or resolve on a problem. So that's why if you look, you can Google what I said, right? What happens is like for the average person, 80% of our thoughts are negative. So not only we are overthinking, we are too much in our head, always no, overthinking. We're too much in our head, but it's negative, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, the nocebo effect. We're talking about like so many different things. The fear, oh my God, what happened to this country or whatever. And we get involved emotionally on that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's what it creates. I can create some program there, right? So when we start to get rid of limiting beliefs, you've got more peace of mind. And you've got also more an open mind. So it means when you've got a problem, when you've got a closed mind, you've got only one solution, right? Or either you will reject all of a solution because you're closed-minded, or you can even see them, right? And so you start to open up your mind, so there's less energy going to your head. Now your heart starts to open up like a flower, right? Because you treated your trauma, you treated all the negative things, so now your heart can be open, right? And so now you've got more open mind, open heart, And after, you can take more action because you've got less limitation that you think, right? So you say, oh, I'm going to do that, right? Because what you want in order to take action, I will talk after about purpose on that. But when you want to take action, you want your thought, your emotion, and your action and behavior to be aligned. If I
Yeah.
say I want to start a diet, right? So in my head, I'm going to start a diet, but after there's a feeling that comes to me, and I remember suddenly that I started a diet, I lost weight, and 2 weeks later, I gained more weight. You think I'm going to do it?
No.
You think I'm
No.
going to do it? Why? Because our thought and emotion are not aligned. We call that coherence, if you want to use a big word. But it's not enough to have the thought, the emotion. You want to have a behavior and the action to be taken. Remember, we need to manifest, we need to create in that world, we need to experience that world, and that's how we learn. That's how we see if we have improved as a human being or regress or whatever, right? You just have to experience it. So in my field, they stop here, right? They say you need to have your head and your heart, right? And they forgot about the hara. You want to make sure you manifest things, right?
Mhm.
And so, for example, this is the how you do things. In your heart, it's why you do things.
You do.
In your belly, it's what you do.
Mhm.
So if I go that, put that on with a purpose, this is your imagination. Your heart is why you're doing things, is your purpose. And after your dedication and commitment is the hara, which is the belly, right? So when
Mhm.
all those are aligned, your imagination, the how you do things, the why you're doing things, which is your purpose, right? And
Mhm.
after the commitment and dedication, you just to make sure that you're gonna create something, right? Because what we forgot, it's like the thought are masculine, right?
Mhm.
Peace of mind. So we are your mind. You understand? We want peace, right? No doubt
Yeah.
about that. And after emotion are more feminine. And what create is the combination of masculine and feminine. When you have a baby, right? You need the ovum and you need the sperm, and the combination masculine and feminine, that's what creates something. And we are all about that's why we're not victims. We are creators. We are born to create things, to manifest things into this world. And in order to do that properly and to make sure that is going to be like the creation that we desire, we need to have our head, our heart, and our hara in alignment.
Mhm. Wow. That is so cool. Oh man, I want to keep having a conversation. We're kind of at time.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say, to be living in purpose? How does this all affect us being able to live why we were put on this planet and what we have
Well,
to
why so many people are looking for their mission in life and their purpose is because their heart is shut down. It's closed. It's no accident that the heart disease are number one killer in this country.
Mhm.
Right? There's also diet and all that. I give you this, of course, but there's also that heart that is shut down, either by trauma or challenges and things like that. Right? So you just need to open your heart, and the key to open your heart, it's okay, emotion. Let's put it that way. All the negative emotion that you do mind clearing on that. Remember, you visualize the emotion, the negative emotion. You replace that by the emotion that you want instead, and you want to make sure you create that. And that's how you can get you will have your purpose without a doubt. You
Mhm.
don't need to have a calling like I did. I'm the lucky guy, right? It has been offered to me, handed to me. But that's why so many problems got. They don't know what's their mission. They know they want to help most of the people. They know they want to, but they don't know what. They don't. They lost. They don't have that clarity because of a limiting belief. Because the heart, it's what connects you to the spirit.
Yeah, that's cool. How does somebody get a hold of yourself or people who are like you? Because I think there's so many people who are searching for ways that they can heal themselves. I know I always am, and I hear all these biohack things, and I can do cold plunges and do all these things, but until I can really fix my mind,
Yeah,
I think I'm kind of lost. And so,
I
what,
mean,
what do I do to
look at the
allow?
go to. Yeah, look at the testimonial. You go there. I've got more testimonial coming and all that. You look at that and it's going to blow your mind because it's so powerful when you can really use 100% of your mind. It's not
Mhm.
only, what we say, oh, I'm going to use my mind. No, it's only 5 or 10% most of the time what we're talking about, right? And so the best way is to experience it, right? True knowledge is about experience it. So you can go to my website. My website is called themindclearing.com, themindclearing.com, right? And you go to contact, and there's a form there you can fill in, or there's my email address, and you contact me for whatever you want. Also, in my website, there's a ton of information. Doctor means teacher. So for me, it's very important to teach, right? Because who's going to do it? Quite frankly, who's going to do it, right? And so you want to do that. So you will have 20% off if they mention Dr. B podcast, right? And if you want to learn the entire program, which is the mind clearing basic, the body clearing, which is about getting rid of pain, inflammation, and basically symptom in your body, right? Bloating, you will have some testimonial of that. I mean, we're able to clear somebody who was a hoarder in one visit. That sounds crazy what I'm saying, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, you read the testimonial, right? That's how powerful it can be, sir. It's just crazy. And after we go, and there's the goal and success clearing to make sure that you because hey, you can set up goals, right? Why not bringing the the subconscious mind to the party? So
Mhm.
I created the quantum loop, right? And it's a step by step process, and all the time you clear yourself of limiting beliefs that are that prevent you to reach your goal, or prevent you to should I say what you didn't like when you take your first step, right? And so what
Mhm.
happens sometimes, the knowledge that we need is here, but our consciousness is here, right? So each time you're gonna get rid of limiting belief, you're gonna raise your level of consciousness, and after you're gonna be able to resonate with a level of consciousness that will allow you the knowledge. When I started to do VIX, Dr. B, I
Mhm.
was like, how am I going to explain that to people? And look, you know,
Yeah.
why? Because I did treat myself, right? And after I got knowledge from there, and I put that together, follow my intuition. And next thing you know, there's an entire philosophy created with that.
Mhm. Oh my gosh. Is this something that somebody has to be with you in person, or is it something you can help them with online? Would they have to travel to Kansas City to do treatments with you?
No,
How
no,
does
no,
that
no.
work?
First of all, as you may maybe intuitively know, you can treat people on a computer online, right? Because
Mhm.
I'm not doing the healing; it's the person who's doing the healing.
That
We
person
just
is
need
doing.
to have a conversation and the guiding and thing. So it's the same for the teaching. Right now, I just do one-on-one, but
Uh,
I'm working on having really online program and stuff like that. But I could have sold that program and say, okay, well, good luck to you. No, this is not going to work,
mhm.
because people either they're going to start the program, some they even don't start, or they're going to do that, and they're not. So and there's Q&A every week. If you got a problem, you can contact me and all that, and during the Q&A we'll clear that. So I want to make sure that you're going to be performant. I want you to be better at it than I am. Yeah, that's what a teacher should be about, right? You want your student to surpass you, right? And so definitely, so it's not like a program that you're going to be left on your own and going to say and learn that. And if you've got any question, maybe you do email and maybe you will have an answer or not. No, we'll be in contact, in touch. The first 2 months for sure to learn that. And I've got some requirements. I want to make sure that you treat yourself, you describe the process and all that, and the problem that you had, like that we can resolve this problem. It's very important for me to that everybody was really good at it, right? Not only for themselves but for other people. We want the domino effect. Look at the vision. Imagine that there's mind clearing practitioner everywhere, right? And so you don't need to have a PhD, you don't need to have even be involved with healthcare or relationship or things like that. You don't need even that, right? What you need is just to learn how to do that programming, or reprogramming, should I say, right? And after you can help people. So this is designed for lay people. people like not you, not like me and you, right? For lay people, right? And because it's simple enough that everybody can do that. And I knew when I had that insight, I knew that was really designed for that, right? So number one, like that, you can empower yourself to heal and help other people, your loved one, whoever you want. But it's also for coaches and health professionals. We really want to get transformation result. We really want to really, they are not about, oh, I'm going to keep that patient forever because blah blah blah. They really want to make a huge difference in people's life, right? Because it's needed now, not tomorrow. Now, I should say yesterday, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. The website is mindclearing.com.
The mind clearing,
The
THE,
mind
the
clearing.
mind.
Okay, put the
Yeah,
THE in there for sure. The
yeah.
mindclearing.com. Go there. Again, he said if you mention Dr. B there, you get 20% off. It's something everybody
And
should do.
50% off the entire, if you want to do the entire
If you
program,
do, okay,
you got
perfect.
50% off. So that's significant. I want people to be able to help, people who health problem, with relationship problem, prosperity problem, if they are professional, right? If they are coaches. And but also if you've got family member, look how empowering it is.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till you're sick in the hospital and you're mentally you're ready to give up, because you don't have to get to that point. You can
There's two
you can
things I want to add, Dr. B.
okay.
There's two things I want to add. The first thing is like I guarantee you, because I know I was there and I'm still there, we have no idea how powerful we are. We
Mhm.
have no idea. We're scratching the surface, right? Number one. Number two, there's hope. If you
Yeah.
think you have been trying everything, you have been everywhere, there's hope, right?
Yes.
Give it a shot. Give it one or two visits for whatever problem you have and see if it works for you. You will know right away, because people mood, first of all, change right away. I mean, this is a guarantee. I never seen anybody who's just there and doesn't smile after that or what. But after the result, sometimes it takes two visits for pain, right? And sometimes, a little bit more for other things. But you make your list and we go for this, and we just go after that, and you just finally there's something that really target your problem, right? Whatever you want to get rid of, you can. It's not like a shooting in the dark, right? And
Mhm.
that is very specific, and you can use yourself for yourself.
Yeah, which is so cool. All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you again for being on. For those of you
And
who got
Dr. B,
something
my
out of this,
pleasure.
yeah, if you got something out of this today, please, please, please send it to somebody. Allow somebody else to get the gift that you got today. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to do the YouTube things that we do in order, because I want to continue, and I promise to bring you such good programs, just like the one that we heard today, and the ones that we continue to hear, because there's so many people that, like I say, success leaves the clues that allows us to transform our lives. And this is one of those episodes where you have the ability now. You can't say, I didn't know. You can't say that it wasn't available to me. You know that there's something out there. You know something not only can help you, but can help the people that you love. And I just want to remind you that you are God's greatest gift. He loves you. You allow him to. And we will look forward, my friends, to talking to you on the next one. Thank you, Dr. Allen. It has been a pleasure and an honor to have you on today. I can't wait till we talk again and we even have more and more testimonials of people that you are able to help. So you guys have an amazing, awesome, incredible day. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Dr. B.